maybe your fan base would rather lose to Alabama.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We'll flip the script this week. Ole Miss will host this weekend. And Hotty Toddy is on fire as they are staring the college football playoffs right in the face, which will mean millions and millions and millions of dollars for the town and the university. So, boom. Ole Miss will host South Carolina, who is not in a good spot. And I don't know what's going to happen there. I don't know if Shane Beamer's going to take Virginia Tech. It's I don't know. I mean, do you really need to go back somewhere just because your dad was there? I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's great, but you're in the SEC. I don't know what Shane wants to do. I've had lunch with him several times. He's a good guy. He married a Mississippi State girl. They're having a brutal season, though. This thing has gotten out from under them. And so Ole Miss will host the South Carolina Gamecocks this weekend. That's a night game. So you get all day. I mean, you get all day to go out and enjoy the Grove and so on, and then get ready for a football game in Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. So, like I said, it flips. Mississippi State goes on the road, and they play the Arkansas Razorbacks. Both teams are winless. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome in to the show. South Carolina at Ole Miss is a 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. 6 o'clock kick on ESPN. Gamecocks are 1-5 in the SEC. Ole Miss is a 12.5-point favorite over South Carolina.
Okay. Drop two? Drop one, drop two. Yesterday it opened at...
It dropped one. I don't remember if it dropped from Sunday too. I just remember when you and I were talking about it yesterday, it dropped one. So, and Mississippi State, Arkansas is held at 4.5. Arkansas is a 4.5-point favorite. But like you and I discussed in the first segment, that total is insane at 67.5.
And it's going to hit.
For Dogs and Razorbacks.
Right. What's total on the other side?
On South Carolina at Ole Miss and Vaught-Hemingway, it's 54.5. Which means they don't believe that South Carolina can score. They believe that Ole Miss can score and that Pete Golding will shut down Shula and Lenore Sellers. So we'll see. It got out from under them early. And, I've watched a lot of Shane's. Shane's one of those guys that wears it on his sleeve.
No doubt.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
sure.
Most coaches do. But I don't think he ever thought that they would lose to Vanderbilt and Missouri and LSU and Oklahoma. And I think Oklahoma's a fraud. Yeah. I agree with Nick on our Golden Moon Casino text line. He says Oklahoma's not winning another game. They're frauds. Who was it on game day? Was it Saban that hinted at that, or was it Herbie? Or remember, I was running pretty good. I told y'all, Wendy and I, Wendy let me know she's not doing anything this weekend.
Nice.
Because I made her go 19 different places this past weekend. And she has a quote for me that football season is exhausting. Yeah, well. And although we've had a blast and we've been with wonderful friends and got to see a lot of people last weekend, but, some weekends you just got to do what you got to do. And we were fortunate that we didn't have to do a lot because our kids are they don't live on campus, but they're college students, so they do their thing. And I told y'all we retired from tailgating for now. And loved our tailgate, just needed to, 17 years, you need to do something else. And it's been nice to just kind of hang around in Starkville in the morning and not have to do anything. And because I still see people on the street, and they're moving and shaking and packing stuff up and so on. And so, just kind of want to transition a little bit, whatever it is. Stages and phases. Hell, I don't know what
How'd
it
that
is.
breakup go?
None of us know. But what now?
How'd the breakup go?
Oh, we love the lady who runs the tailgate. Wendy called her and said, we're not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
We're just taking a break.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Is there some kind of like, if you were to go somewhere else, does that mean do you have to sit out a year? I mean, there's got to be a transfer rule there.
probably. I don't know if we're going to go anywhere else.
No, but if you were.
We went to the SAE house on Saturday. I guess that was tailgating. They had a great food spread. And Wilkes and them had a band. And I got to see a bunch of adults that I have not seen in a while. And that was fun for me. But I took her starting Friday. I mean, so I did the show for Visit Starkville, which was a ton of fun. Jake Mangum joined us. If you missed that, that's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But you can actually see the video.
Boom.
We did YouTube, which I haven't ever done enough. Blake gave me hell, and then Jackson really was like, we got to start doing it. So the Jake Mangum interview is on YouTube on Out of Bounds Sports, but that was fun. Then I went to Two Brothers, met one of the Tito's guys, had lunch. Wendy got into town, and I went somewhere else that afternoon, and then we ended up at Taste Italian Restaurant with the Bocock brothers, who do the Mississippi State and Ole Miss cigars, and LSU and A&M and so on.
Right.
Those guys were great. Ton of Texas people at the bar. And you know what? You know how we like to label people in life, and we usually miss. But
sure.
And we've talked about Longhorn fans. Pretentious
Posh.
comes up.
Yeah. Not so.
I ran into Texas people all weekend. I did not run into one pretentious Texas fan. So just wanted to let you know that. I ran into a bunch of nice people.
Yeah, sure.
So then the next morning we had to get moving early, and Wendy was like, I don't think I like this schedule. So we got to Two Brothers by 11 a.m. and all the Tito's guys and girls, actually, females, were there. And that was a ton of fun. And then we went over to the SAE house. Then we actually stopped in the junction for a second. We hadn't done that all year. And then we scooted up to the stadium. I don't know what my point in all that. I just wanted to tell you my schedule.
Wow, that's a great schedule, though, for a game day.
Had a great time. I mean, other than blowing a 17-point lead, I had a ton of fun. But you got to win games. As Bill Parcells said, it's all about the left column. The number in the left column tells you everything you need to know or don't want to know, whatever the deal is. The left column for Ole Miss and Southern Miss looks good. The left column for Mississippi State could look so much better. And it's been a heartbreaking year, and I hate it because I'm so impressed with the fans and the students.
Yeah.
I believe after everything you've been through,
they're still there.
I just cannot believe what you did against Arizona State, Tennessee, and Texas. I can't. It's and that was I felt like the town was more packed than when Dak was there. I did. I think it was. Actually, I know it was. The 2014, 2015, the town I got there on Thursday, did the show on Friday. The town was more packed, I think, than I've ever seen it for a football game. Now, part of that is your exploding enrollment, which means their parents go too. All these, da-da-da-da. You can do the math. Mike Detillier, baby. LSU Insider, Mike D. He'll join us at 8:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Oh. And good morning. Good morning to you. We are the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. The Jake Mangum interview is on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. Talks about his first year in the big leagues. Incredible interview. Incredible. Tampa Bay Rays. Jake Mangum interview is on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. And it was damn good. I mean, some just really good behind the scenes stuff on what's it like to be a big leaguer in Major League Baseball. So the Jake Mangum interview is on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. Actually, we're on YouTube right now.
That's right.
And we are live. But you can also go through there on our page and you can find the Jake Mangum interview, among others. So YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. Go ahead and, if you want to, hit that subscribe button because Jackson's invested about 400 hours in it, and it's well done. So we would love for you to hit the subscribe button. It would be great for us. We're trying to hit a number between now and December 31st, the end of the year. That'd be great if you like the show, or if you kind of like the show, or even if you get mad at me about every 3 days. We'd love for you to go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports, and hit the subscribe button. It'd be great for us. Terry on the Golden Moon Casino text line. I mentioned Oklahoma's a fraud. They're going to struggle to win many more games, if any. He goes, Bo, John Mateer is the fraud at Oklahoma. First month of college football season against non-conference teams. He was being touted by the mothership as a leading Heisman contender and the number one NFL pick. Since SEC play has looked average. And he also had the surgery on the throwing hand thumb, right? But yeah, look, they can't run the football, and there's a lot going on there. And Luganville called it from the jump, and then Bartu talked about it all offseason that this offensive coordinator didn't like to run the football, and he believes, and he's right. Look at Lane Kiffin, look at Kirby Smart, look at Mike Elko. You got to run the football in this league. I mean, even Jeff Lebby, who's struggling to win games, Jeff wants to run the football. Look what he had going with Fluff before Fluff went out, and Booth. And Booth's played well since Fluff went out. Fluff's going to play this weekend. But look at Kiffin with Trinidad and Lacey and A&M, and Bama's been pinning their ears, and Georgia. I mean, this is the deal. You got to run the damn ball. And you got to have a quarterback who can run the ball.
Right.
Like Mississippi State doesn't, but Ole Miss does in Trinidad. Ty Simpson, very mobile. Gunnar Stockton made some plays for Georgia. And even against Ole Miss when their back was against the wall. Marcel Reed, did y'all see that move on Saturday night? That was filthy. He broke the ankles and looked like made the guy tear both his ACLs. It looked like an NBA move from one of the top 5 players in the league, just depending on the year, where you're doing a little dribble drive from about 30 feet out, and you get within about 15 feet of the basket, and you make that move. It was filthy. That guy he didn't just lose his jock, he lost everything.
Yeah.
Marcel Reed, my goodness. And then Taylon Green's been hurt, but he can make you look silly too. So you got some guys in the league, Trinidad, Taylon, Ty, Marcel Reed, Gunner, Lenoris. I mean, I know Lenoris has been banged up too, but these are guys that can make you miss. But you got to have just a couple other ingredients, and then you can win, like Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia, and A&M. Can you believe it? A&M.
Riding high. Yeah, you can believe it.
Texas A&M, man.
Look at the coach.
Yeah.
Dude eats footballs.
He eats footballs. He does. He goes out there and takes a piece of the concrete in the stadium every morning.
It's like a toothpick.
And puts a scrambled egg over it.
Yeah. Man, that is a I don't want nothing to do with him.
I mean, did Tommy Moffitt let LSU know Did he flex on them or what? I mean,
Hard.
Nick Saban hired Tommy Moffitt, and it revolutionized the strength and conditioning. So Nebraska did it first 100 years ago under Tom Osborne. And some adopted and some didn't, or adapted, both. And Tommy Moffitt was like the thing. That's what got kind of everybody getting paid. And he stayed on under Miles and Ogeron and has, how many titles? Saban won, Miles won, Ogeron won, played for it another time. You know, he's got 3 national championships with 3 coaches as a strength and conditioning coach at LSU, and Brian Kelly fired him. First guy he fired when he walked in. And Moffitt goes to A&M, and Texas A&M's physical. They're nasty, and kind of like their coach. I mean, he looks like he wants to get down in some mud and some pig slop.
Oh, none of that.
And just all day bull in the ring guy. He was a guy that 35 years ago, I don't even know how old it is, but 35 years ago, whatever, at 17 years old, he demanded that they not just do 15 minutes of bull in the ring.
That's right.
That they did an hour and a half as a high school football player.
Mike Elko's a mean 48.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow. And didn't he go to Yale or Princeton? He's an Ivy League guy?
Shut up.
Because he looks like he went to West Texas.
Penn?
He went to Penn. Donald Trump.
Wait.
Okay. He went to Penn because of Donald Trump. Who knew?
Way.
I knew he was Ivy. I just couldn't remember.
He's Ivy?
Yeah. He looks like he went to West Texas State.
Yeah.
Yeah. And played pulling guard when you had to pull.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
Dude.
Pull.
You got to put your hand in the ground and you got to get going downhill. You got to shuffle down that line and then you got to go vertical.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got to pull.
And mow people down in West Texas State in 110-degree weather, heat.
I can't believe this.
Yeah.
And he played safety at Penn, too. So, he was hitting.
Man.
I
think Mike Elko eats people on the way to work.
Surely.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he was scared of contact.
Nah.
Doesn't look like the type.
What'd he play?
Safety.
No, he didn't. He did not play safety.
Knocking heads.
So he looked pretty for a while?
I guess.
And now that guy, he hadn't passed up. He eats at a place called Cattleman's in College Station. That has, the best blue plates and smothered covered pork chops you've ever had in your life.
What in the world? I can't believe he went to Penn.
I knew he was an Ivy guy.
That's incredible. Well, okay.
Mike Elko, head football coach for A&M. They are 8-0.
8-0. With no signs of slowing down.
Are they going to win it?
I don't think they played their best football yet.
Well, I tend to agree with you with what Colin Klein is doing with Marcel Reed. Colin Klein, former Kansas Stater.
Yes.
Under the legend Bill Snyder.
Bill, yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
I think I have that right.
It's about Chris Klein. Is there another one?
I think it's Colin Klein.
Colin.
You may be thinking of a wrestler or something.
Wrestler.
They play at Missouri.
Yeah, that's
they're off this week. Sorry. At Missouri, South Carolina at home, Samford.
Yeah.
And at Texas on ABC.
That's a snooze
Thanksgiving weekend.
Run McConaughey out of the stadium.
Holy Mary Olzab.
They're going to give Daddy the Rain Man suite. Do you dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike.
Vegas! You think we get there by midnight?
Money, we're going to be up 500 by midnight.
Yeah! Vegas!
Vegas, baby! Vegas!
Mike Detillier next. Oh, I love the Underdog app. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash this week on Underdog. I'm looking at Dodgers Blue Jays and selecting Vlad Guerrero Jr. for higher than 7.5 fantasy points and Shohei Ohtani for higher than an 11.5 fantasy points. Download the app today, Underdog, and use promo code OUTOFBOUNDS to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code OUTOFBOUNDS. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncp.gambling.org.
We are live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We welcome in Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. LSU insider. LSU felt like it was too much, and they fired Brian Kelly on Sunday. They were embarrassed Saturday by A&M, and they are going to move on, and they are now in the coaching sweepstakes, and we'll see who they land. But we bring in Mike. And Mike, so now that LSU has moved on from Brian Kelly, in your opinion, who is the number one candidate that they're trying to target to replace Brian Kelly?
Well, if I knew exactly who would be doing the hiring, I could give you a better answer. Because, one thing with Louisiana, you never really know on who's making that final call. Because Scott Woodward, certainly has he's always been a bit of a big game hunter when you look at his hires. Kim Mulkey, bringing her in from Baylor after, Coach Mulkey had great success there, and she's had great success at LSU. Jay Johnson had a lot of success, certainly, at Arizona, and then bringing him in as the baseball coach. Brian Kelly, to be honest with you, had success at Notre Dame. I don't think when Brian was hired, he was the number one guy on Scott Woodward's list, but you look back at what he's done in the past, he has always sort of had that persona to go after people with credentials. The biggest misperception is that, they got people in Louisiana that they don't have enough money to go after who they want. That's not exactly true. Living here all my life, I can tell you, they got people with money here, and they would put their hand on a Bible and swear to you they ain't got a nickel. I mean, that's just the way they are, and especially of a certain generation. I don't have no money, but yet they do. Money will not be the issue for LSU. It will be fit. And does Scott Woodward make that call? Because we saw, and it was evident, the governor of Louisiana, Jeff Landry, got involved with this heavily. He was posting out even before the game that there had been a Board of Supervisors meeting and a raise of ticket prices and parking passes. And about, hey, you guys better rethink that. So already he's gotten himself involved with this. It's not a first. He's in a long line. Huey Long years ago, when he was governor of the state, and he ruled it like no one else. I remember my grandfather telling me that, he'd make, comments that if I wasn't the governor of the state of Louisiana and then he became a senator, I would be the head coach at LSU. Okay, can you imagine a politician? Hey, I'm taking over, and that's what he did. A few years back, Boone, you might remember this. There was a lot of kind of a beat of the drum that Les Miles was going to get fired at the end of the season, and actually the players put Les They beat Texas A&M at the end of the season. They put Les on their shoulders and they wrote him off the field. He was going to get relieved of his duties by Joe Oliva that night. But a phone call came to the AD, and Bobby Jindal, the then governor of Louisiana, said, "You're not firing Les Miles." And Oliva, okay, I won't fire him.
Wow.
Well, it took him halfway into the next season, and he was gone. But Louisiana governors and people with tremendous amounts of money do have some say in this. I would think that, to answer your question, the number one guy on LSU's list, and I think that he had an interest in it years ago, but because of ties to Ed Orgeron and other things, he was not high on Scott Woodward's list at that point, was Lane Kiffin. I have no doubt that people who have substantial means have made it known that they would want Lane Kiffin at LSU. Now, again, that's going to be up to Coach Kiffin on exactly what he wants to do, how he wants to handle this. I'm sure he's the number one guy on Florida's list also. So it's going to be an interesting twist here, because I've heard from way too many people that maybe, he's not Scott Woodward's top guy, but Scott Woodward may be told, either you try to land him or guess what? We got somebody that's going to take your place. LSU does not have a school president right now.
Oh.
So basically, Governor Landry kind of runs the show now completely. I do think by sometime next week, they will have a new school president at LSU,
Okay.
and he's a Cajun guy just like me. Who I think it'll be. In fact, he grew up farther down the bayou than I did, so he's about 10 years younger. But and he's the president at McNeese right now.
Okay.
I suspect that they will have, and who I'm talking about is Wade Roos.
Okay.
I suspect that they will have a new president, and he will oversee what is happening behind the scenes. A lot of people bring up Dan Lanning, and I would have to do a little bit more research on this. Dan Lanning's buyout at Oregon is huge. The other part is he actually has a personal services contract with Nike tied to Phil Knight, which makes it even more complicated if any team is trying to lasso Dan Lanning from Oregon. It would make it pretty difficult, and he got it pretty sweet over there. I know one thing, the guy that's in charge at Oregon, I know he knows how to cut a check.
That's for damn
he
sure.
knows how to write one, and it won't bounce.
No. When you're worth $40 billion, you're good.
I would think Lane Kiffin would certainly be very, very high on the list if he's not the number one guy. If you go back to what Woodward has done in the past, it has been someone with credentials and a sort of a lengthy credential list. The intriguing name is a guy 60 miles south and east of you, John Sumrall at Tulane, because John is going to also, like Lane, he's going to be heavily sought after in this offseason. Remember, he's an Alabama guy. Auburn, I think, would certainly be a school very interested. Arkansas also is another school that I think would be very interested in John Sumrall. Man, it's like a novel, and you only got to chapter 2 yet.
Mike Detillier on the Out of Bounds show and the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. I agree with you on LSU having plenty of money, and that alumni base when they get revved up and focused and locked in. So Lane Kiffin possibly. I mean, yeah, he is a candidate. Dan Lanning, you make a good point. Poaching him may be impossible financially. And then you got Summerall, maybe Jeff Brom at Louisville. Do you think they'll get in the Joe Brady? There's talk that Joe Brady and Penn State are flirting like crazy, but that Joe's also trying to figure out if there could be another, that there will be several job openings, as you know, Mike D, in the NFL. What do you make of that? Anything?
I think with Joe, and just I'm not pals with Joe or close friends with him, but I know him enough to know he's not a great recruiter. He's let it be known he doesn't care for what's happening in college football, the way the recruiting is. I've always felt once Joe went to the NFL, his eventual goal would be to be a head coach at the NFL level.
Okay.
And you just wonder a little bit, what happens if the Bills don't make it to Super Bowl Sunday?
Right.
Is their coach safe, so to speak? But I think Joe will get his opportunity to be an NFL head coach. I've never looked at Joe as a college coach. He has openly talked about disdain of what he sees in college football on the recruiting part. And he came from the college ranks initially. He was at William and Mary. And actually Sean Payton hired him because Sean got the idea that maybe college concepts could be used in the pro game. And Sean was way ahead of his time with that.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe was able to bring that in, and actually Joe went to a little seminar at LSU to show them what they were doing with the Saints. And that's when Ed Orgeron heard him, saw him, and said, I want to bring that guy in. Because he was a GA. He was going to get donuts and biscuits and passing the car through the car wash with the Saints, while he wasn't doing a film breakdown of college concepts that could be used in the pros. But I've always felt Joe would not re-enter the college game.
Okay. To
be honest with you, I think another guy to watch is Jed Marsh at Washington.
Jed Fish. Yeah.
Jed Fish, excuse me, at Washington. Great success at Arizona, a very good recruiter, young guy. He didn't grow up in Florida, but he coached there. And I'm wondering if, let's say 1 and 2 are off the list at Florida, would Jed be the guy for the Gators?
Yeah, he worked under Spurrier, right?
Yes, he did, and he was a coach in the Gainesville area.
Okay.
Also, so he knows that area very well. Fish is he is a really, really, really good coach, and it's going to be an off season. We had Ross Dallinger on last night, and Ross was like, Mike, you said this a couple of weeks ago, and you were right. This is going to be the most adventurous offseason I think we've ever seen in college football. That all these openings, and wait, Florida State hasn't made that decision yet. Well, I think maybe they have, and they just haven't made it known. Auburn, what could potentially happen there? And, okay, that's a lot of jobs now popping open all over the place. And who knows where else now? But I give Pete Jenkins, 84 years old, former defensive line coach for many, many years. And we have Pete on regular. And right after James Franklin got fired, Bo, he made a comment to me over the air, but he had told me off the air the same way. I think with Franklin's firing, because he said, with Jimbo getting fired at A&M, that was a bit of an anomaly. Not everybody's got that type of money to pay a coach off to ride into the sunset. But he said, no coach now is safe in college football. No matter how successful you've been, no coach is safe. And he said that should send a shiver down their spine. And you think about Franklin, he was one game away from playing in the national championship game, and he gets fired midway into the next season. Okay, you look at, what happened here at LSU with Brian Kelly, and I would have, I've said this on this program and others. I didn't think he was going. I thought he'd have another year at LSU. To be honest with you, his boss, he's the one who hired him. And he did give him an out. He did give him an opportunity to save his bacon, but they got into a heated discussion on people they should keep, and he took the powder and he was out. But he did have that opportunity, but it was just the inevitability with Brian. He just knew it. The crazy thing is, we do a pregame show for LSU, Herb Tyler and I, for WWL every week. We're at Acme Oyster House, about a mile from Tiger Stadium.
Okay.
It is packed in there for the A&M game. It's serpentined outside. So when I walk in, I got to walk kind of through a few people, and they kind of got me in. I'd never seen that many people. And yet, Bo's the most subdued I've seen LSU fans in all these years we've done it. It reminds me a little bit of, when you live out in the country like I do, the animals sort of tell you when bad weather's coming.
Sure.
They're not around. They were so subdued, as though, man, we're not real sure. This could get ugly tonight, and fast. They were right. It got ugly in the third quarter.
Woo!
And I think at the end of the third quarter, you say, you know what? Brian's not going to survive this. He's not going to be able to survive this part. The play on the field, but also the way the fans turned on him and LSU people real quick. There was no salvaging this.
Wow. Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans, LSU Insider. He joins us on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Sound and Communications. For your next video wall for your business or school, soundcomav.com. Brian Kelly out. We'll see what LSU can do. So, Mike, it sounds like, and this is a good floor, and I know it'll depend on, like you said, Auburn, and with Summerall's ties to as an Alabama guy, and he went to Kentucky, although he's not going to pick Kentucky over LSU. But
I'd stay away from Kentucky if I was John. I do a show with John each week.
Do you?
Yeah, John and I, yeah. We've had Coach Summerall ever since he took the job at Tulane. I do a Tuesday show at 4:30.
Smart.
With John Summerall on WWL. Yeah, man. Listen, Willie was a good guest. Coach Fritz, man, I think the world of him. He was a great guy, terrific coach.
Yeah.
But, I've said this before, and I've told this to Coach Summerall. You got a good to very good team. There's one superstar on that team. It's you.
Yeah.
And he gets, oh, come on. He say, you soft soaping me. No. Ain't no soft soaping. No, that dude, he's going to be a big-time coach and real quick. I can tell.
Okay, so he's the floor. And that is a high floor. So if Lanning can't be lifted because it's a fortune,
I think it would be difficult. Really.
And then if Lane decides to stay in Oxford or go somewhere else or goes to the NFL, whatever. All right. So the floor, and you haven't mentioned James Franklin, so it doesn't sound like you can. I think a lot of people, even though he's a good coach, people look at it like you can't really repackage that and put a bow on it right now, maybe. Some school, Arkansas would love him, and there's nothing wrong with that, and Kentucky would love him, but probably can't do that at LSU. So what you're saying is, if the two biggest names in Lane and Lanning can't be had, it sure sounds like it's John Summerall, Mike. Is that kind of where you're going?
I think he would certainly be in the strong mix for it. Now, here's the thing. With LSU people saying, we're going to hire little brother's coach, at Tulane, there is that part in that. And remember, hey, this ain't the first time it happened. Billy Napier. Think about that a few years back. Billy was at University of Louisiana, in Lafayette. And Billy had made it known he would love that LSU job. but I don't think he really got an interview at all with Scott Woodward. I doubt that ever happened. Would that happen now with Summerall? Because John's one of the two things going to have to get through their heads. Either you hire him or you play against him. Because I think he's going to end up being an SEC head coach. Wow. Either you hire him or you're going to have to play against him. And I would think he is really on top of the list at Auburn or in Arkansas.
Wow. So if Cohen may have decided that he knew. Okay, so Cohen kept his powder dry last weekend. Didn't fire Freeze. Freeze wins a game. He's probably hoping like all get out that somehow Freeze can get this thing maybe rolling a little bit, because he knows that if he gets in this mix, he's not winning the Summerall sweepstakes between LSU. LSU's the best job open. Look, to me, Mike D, I got to go, but it's LSU, Georgia, and Ohio State. They're the best jobs in the country because they don't have any other, big boy schools. I know Georgia Tech's playing well, and that's great and wonderful. But okay, all right. So John, they're all talking. They know what's going on. He knew Kelly was going to get, and if Landry wants him, then LSU's getting Summerall. Okay, all right. This makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing with it,
and Auburn can win this weekend against Kentucky. I mean, I guess they could lose,
yes,
but they should.
But are you just putting off the inevitable?
That's a good point. I can't figure out what's going on with you.
It has to, I think, and it was sort of the same thing with Brian Kelly. Are you just putting off the inevitable here? If you gave him another year, and he would have changed offensive coordinators and his offensive line coach and that sort of thing, aren't you just sort of putting off the inevitable? And I think it came to that point. And listen, that buyout still being negotiated. That's still a huge buyout. But one person with LSU ties has decided to pick up that buyout for LSU.
Whoa.
One donor has decided, hey,
who is it?
Give me the bill and I'm going to pay it.
Okay.
So think about that. People, they ain't got no money here in Louisiana. What? You kidding yourself. I've lived here all my life. They got people, again, who would swear to you they don't have a nickel, and yet they got cash. Listen, you pass down this bayou and in the river parish or on the North Shore, and then come back and tell me that they don't have money in this state. But
no, y'all have plenty.
Yeah, this is an anonymous donor who doesn't even live in the state of Louisiana, quite frankly. And he wants to keep it under wraps. And I get that, because then they pass the collection plate in front of you if they find out exactly who you are. But he
Thanks,
said,
Mike D.
Give me the bill.
Love you, buddy. We'll talk next week. See you, man.
Thank you, Bo.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Out of Order.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Oh, good morning to you. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I'm drunk.
The Underdog app is amazing. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, baby. And Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Dodgers Blue Jays, and I'm selecting Vlad Guerrero Jr. for lower than 7.5 fantasy points, and Shohei Ohtani for lower than an 11.5 fantasy points. Download the app today. Use promo code Out of Bounds to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries. When you play your first $5, that's promo code Out of Bounds. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 and older and present Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Underdog, baby. Let's have some fun this postseason in baseball and NFL and NBA. Higher or lower, Underdog app. Download it today. We're live on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. The show is brought to you by Southern Ag Credit, financing life outside the city limits. Southern Ag Credit, financing life outside the city limits. Right there in Ridgeland, Mississippi, among other offices. And yes, I know Ken Hobart, as people have asked, and super good dude and part of the Southern Ag Credit family. SouthernAgCredit.com, financing life outside the city limits. We're streaming. I guess we're specializing. We're streaming on the Out of Bounds radio app and the Zone1059.com.
I'm like a fat Brett Favre.
Whoa. Is that Mike Elko?
Ah, man. He's better.
I'm like a fat Brett Favre.
Except he went to Penn.
Yeah. Don't do
That way,
Elko
I'm a
like
fan.
that.
Man.
Don't do him like that.
Man. Mike Elko.
That's a ball coach.
That is a ball coach, man.
If he doesn't eat, I mean, that dude, chewing leather obviously is an old school term that we've used, right? That dude chews leather, though. He looks like,
He has granite for breakfast.
yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
Concrete for lunch. And he just probably a fire hydrant for dinner.
Would you rather spend time with him or Signetti?
Signetti.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be far behind.
No.
I'm intrigued and I'm fascinated and I'm curious and all that by both and impressed.
What about Lane? Signetti, Lane?
Oh, I'd love to.
I'd love it.
No, Lane would be 1, Signetti 2, Elko
Really?
3. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's probably how it should be.
Yeah.
Signetti's awesome. But
Let's drop. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Let's drop that Lane audio again. We'll reset. Let me tell you how you can get in touch with the show. Good morning. Welcome in. Thanks for making us your sports and entertainment show of choice on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Key City beer. Where did I have a Mi Vida? Oh, I went to Saltines. Golly, that food is good. So, all right, they got Key City Mi Vida on tap. So does Martin's in Livingston. Sweet. Key City beers out of Vicksburg. It's absolutely fabulous. They've done an amazing job building a Mississippi company. So the Key City beer caller line is 601-707-3750. This is Lane Kiffin on the LSU job opening.
Very surprising. It's the college world we're living in now, we really, if you think about it, we talk about the players now are like NFL players, how they're paid, and now I feel like the college coaches now are more like the NFL coaches, where the firings happen quicker. NFL coaches see all the time, they get 1-2 years, and you'd be like, well, in college that doesn't happen, because it's harder to build a roster and they give you more time, and so it's obviously not the case now, and I think it's a product of things that happen. I think that Elko doing such a great job at A&M, I think puts in people's heads like, hey, these buyouts are ridiculous to pay, and but I'm sure in A&M right now sitting there going, okay, well, yeah, that was ridiculous to pay, but we feel pretty good about that right now. So anytime something works, other people go, well, let's go do that. And so I think that's happened. And once it now has places accepting, to pay these buyouts, which I think is ridiculous, but that it's happening, then it's easier for the next team and the next team, to do it.
Lane hit on something that I want to talk about real quick. A&M has already made their money back. So when you do it, when you do it and it works, you make your money back in like 5 seconds. Because when you're good in college football, ask Ole Miss right now. Now, look, there were millions and millions and millions of dollars that went through Starkville last weekend. They're not even, they're not 1-9 like they were last year. They're 4-4 and competitive. But when you move off Jimbo and you pay that money, but Elko comes in and you win, you're already in the red. In the black. Okay? So, that's just the way this thing looks. And so I don't know what Florida's going to do, because I think now, LSU's the best job now. Florida's a really, 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 really good job. But if Summerall's tie to Alabama went to Kentucky's out, unless we're just missing something. Kentucky missed. So Mississippi State could have hired Summerall for about a 24-hour period, thought he was going to get the job. And Mississippi State passed on a head coach with experience and so on. And he's done an amazing job at Troy and Tulane. He is now outside of Lane and Lanning,
Right.
guys that are already at good Power 4, big conferences, all that. He is the hot guy that's not at a Power 4 school.
Right.
Now, Charles Huff in 5 minutes or 6 months or whatever may be that guy again too. And I don't know if Southern Miss will be able to hang on to him, but I'm happy for Southern Miss. But Tulane's going to lose him. So it's just a matter if a big dog's going to get him or if another school that's got, potential like an Auburn or Arkansas. I'm not sure if Cohen, I don't know if Cohen's sitting there going, look, if Hugh can beat Kentucky, which at home, they're favored by 10.5 this weekend.
Man.
Knowing that Hugh's got to try. This would be different if Hugh had never won.
Right.
John could wake up and go, look, this guy has never won. He's never done it. He hasn't done it here. I don't have anything that tells me something different.
Right.
But Freeze won at Arkansas State. He won at Ole Miss, and he won at Liberty. All right, so you don't just do that. I know a lot of you love to pick on or dislike or even more Hugh Freeze.
Right.
But the bottom line is he won everywhere he has been. So John may be thinking if he can if he can beat Kentucky, if he can go to Vanderbilt and win. I know a lot of you say there's no way. There is a way with that defense.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not – Auburn has been within a whisker since he's been there. They're
game.
not getting beat 45-10. They're getting beat 24-21. Okay? And then they got Mercer. John may be thinking, back in a second. Here we go. The Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app and thezone1059.com. Man, oh man, oh man. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Dodgers, Blue Jays, and selecting Vlad Guerrero Jr. for higher than 7.5 fantasy points, and Shohei Ohtani for higher than 11.5 fantasy points. Download the app today and use promo code Out of Bounds to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Out of Bounds. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Boom. Download the Underdog app today and pick higher or lower on NFL, the World Series, NBA. Boom. Let's go to the Golden Moon Casino text line and their super cool Vegas-style sportsbook. We got an unnamed texter that said Bo Todd Graves is funding the buyout. That's the Canes guy?
Is he really? Of course he is. I mean, that's a drop in the dude. Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure he is.
Now, Mike said this guy doesn't. See, that's what I thought.
Todd Graves lives there.
So there may be another dude.
Yeah.
That is.
Might call Todd.
Mike, you should call Todd today.
I might.
Actually, I have his number.
Oh, you should. I mean, maybe I just send him a text.
Remember who sent it to me?
I feel like I should just send him a Venmo request.
Yeah, I do. I'll just text him and say, Todd, did you pay $20 million of the buyout to Brian Kelly?
I was figuring maybe we could reroute the wire. If you, I mean,
to us?
Yeah, I mean,
all right, cool.
We'll fire him.
There we go.
Yeah,
and we'll buy Underdog and get rich.
Boom, just like that.
Okay.
Actually, we'll probably just put it all on Ohtani higher. Yeah.
And then we'll just double our money.
Done.
Okay. All right. We'll just keep doing that.
Yeah. I mean,
then we'll buy an MLB or NFL team.
That's how it works.
David J says, how do you know Summerall isn't another Napier? Well, you don't ever know. I mean,
you don't know.
LSU hired Nick Saban. His record wasn't that awesome at Michigan State, but he won. I mean, Saban has told the story time and again. He thought they weren't going to make it, and they beat Ohio State in, I don't remember, like 98. And, I mean, things were real rocky. I mean, all this stuff's not easy. I mean, I say that a lot. I mean, I know I have to critique players and coaches, but we also give, I think a lot of people gloss over this. We also talk about how awesome people are and how difficult it is to win. And when they're winning like Jans and Beard or Kiffin, or, you know, whoever else is Charles Huff. And I don't know how many times I've mentioned, probably 600, that like Delta State, all they do is win.
Yeah. No, we give props.
I don't know. I mean, you didn't know who you think you do because we've trained our brain that we know who Nick Saban is.
Not a chance.
You didn't know who he was when he was hired.
Not a chance.
You didn't.
No.
You know, maybe Chuck Mullins because he was a younger dude in the 90s watching Cleveland Browns football with Belichick and Saban before they got fired, or maybe Saban moved on to Michigan State. But the point is,
no one.
He wasn't going 9-2 every year at Michigan State.
No, they were.
So, I mean, he had to get going. And look, everything was different. But who knows? Nobody thought Lane. Look, Keith Carter has done a magnificent job for Ole Miss. He had no idea Lane was going to do this.
No way.
If you had a beer with Keith Carter tonight in Oxford on the back patio of his home, he'd go, hey, man, I thought we had a shot for this to work. I didn't know he was going to be the best coach in the history of our school, including Vaught and Bianco. Okay? Nobody saw this happening. that during his time at Alabama and Florida Atlantic, he just figured out how to run the whole program. And Dabo, you think they thought Dabo was going to play for 4 national titles and win 2 when they bumped him up, not from a coordinator, but from a wide receivers coach to the interim coach and then to the head coach?
Not a chance.
Okay. When Richard Williams was hired by Mississippi State, 1986, he was on the staff. Bob, nobody knew this. I did, only because we'd known Richard Williams as a family since he was an assistant coach at Mississippi State. But nobody knew who Richard Williams was. He went on to go to two Sweet 16s and a Final Four.
Very casual.
Okay. I mean, and won an SEC championship and an SEC tournament championship.
Jeez.
He won 6 NCAA tournament games over 2 years.
He won SEC championship and regular.
Yeah.
Dang.
He won the SEC championship in 91.
Okay.
And some guy named Chris Jackson and Shaq were at LSU, and he beat them.
Yeah, those guys.
He had no NBA players on his team at that time.
They beat them?
Yes.
I was unaware. Wow.
Yeah. Richard Williams loved to work Dale Brown.
Jeez.
Because Dale couldn't really coach that well, but he was a ferocious, incredible recruiter. He also had someone, I can't remember the guy's name on that staff, that was amazing. But anyway, you didn't know Dan Mullen was going to be so good that he totally rebooted your football program from losing seasons with Kroom. I think when he took it 8 of 9 years going into Mullen, taking the job, you had 8 of 9 losing seasons.
Wow. Good Lord.
And so those are the things that we talk about and we go through.
What was his first year? Do you remember what his first year was like?
All right, this guy's could be right. He said Todd Graves lives in Nashville, in
Really?
Franklin.
Oh, that
Absolutely gorgeous area. Okay, cool. Then maybe it is Todd Graves. Bam.
Mullen's first year. What was it like?
He went 5-7.
Right.
He
Coming off of what, a 2-win season-ish, maybe?
I don't
know if it's that low.
I think Kroom had gone 4-8.
Yeah.
But he got beat 45-0 in the Egg Bowl.
That's right.
Could have been worse. Nut called off the Dogs. Houston, that is. He also had, a 5'5" QB in Tyson Lee.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not taking a shot at Tyson.
No.
He's a wonderful kid, young man. But Tyson needed to be at Millsaps. And, he just kind of put it together that first year. Thought he had LSU beat. Had Houston beat. They called a flag on Tyson, Houston Cougars. Called a flag saying that Tyson had stepped over the line of scrimmage when he completed a pass down to like the 3-yard line to Anthony Dixon would run it in. They win. And bad call there. But he beat Ole Miss as a double-digit underdog in the year.
So 4-8, obviously with Sly, and then went 5-7 with Dan's first year, and then he flipped it 9-4.
And then he went 9-4.
And then boom.
And he beat Georgia, Florida, and Michigan and Ole Miss in year 2. So the point is, you don't ever know what you're getting. Nobody knew what Mike Bianco was hired from McNeese State. Nobody knew that Mike would give you 25 years of regionals, super regionals, 2 Omaha appearances, and a national title. We don't know.
No.
I think John Summerall will be fine, but I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the market's going to do today, tomorrow. And if other people tell you they do, they don't. So anyway, it's been a good show. Hey, if you missed the Jake Mangum interview, it's on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. It's really good as he tells stories about his first year in the big leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays. The Jake Mangum interview is on YouTube. Search Out of Bounds Sports. Jackson puts hours and hours and hours a week in it. We would love for you to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel. Out of Bounds Sports. Back in a sec.